If you like mythology, folklore, and urban legends, I have a great podcast for you. Spirits is a boozy dive into everything from ancient Greek mythology to modern stories about the occult, where my BFF Julia and I pour a drink and learn a new story from somewhere around the world every day. We look at all these stories from the lens of feminism, queerness, and modern adulthood. And as big nerds, we also go behind books, movies, and television shows and the mythologies behind them. The best part is you can dive in with any of the over 400 episodes we've published. Subscribe to Spirits Now in your podcast app or at spiritspodcast.com.
No.
All right, players, it's over. What did y'all think?
You apparently aged 20 years.
What's wrong with you?
I have a cold. I've lost my voice. I can't talk, but I'm still here. I'm still with it. So, what did you think?
Are you speaking Draconic?
Yes.
I was going to say that Gus was so emotional over the end of this campaign that he was crying all night and lost his voice from crying, as we've all experienced once in life. Am I right, fellas?
Yeah, he
Well,
was
that was mostly.
screaming into the pillow, weeping as hard as he could.
How can I go on?
Actually, like, I've seen a lot of people, and they're like, oh, but, goodbye to Infinites, and just like, oh, how heartbreaking, and stuff like that. Like, this is going to be good. I'm trying to be optimistic about it. Like, as much as we love these characters, it's going to be nice with new characters. And if we fail there, there's nothing saying we can't come back to the Infinites,
I'm looking at Micah's face right now, being like,
I've actually expected Ben to delete all of our character sheets once the
I ask again, what did you all think?
it was a blast. I think we all agree that like this was one of our most favorite things that we've ever worked on. The characters, the story, the way the podcast all came together, and like just the community that we've grown around the Stinky Dragon, little stinkers. I think it's been like just like one of I think my favorite experiences to date being part of this podcast.
This is probably the most invested I've been in a production, and like I was talking to John just how crazy it was, just like even something like his mom making us puppets and just like how everything fit together perfectly and like just made the last couple of years so much fun and I don't know I really like Speak Dragon. It's been a good ride.
Yeah. I just think it's been such a blessing to be able to like come every week and make something with friends and really just have fun. And then no matter what happens, it always be better than we record it after Mike is done editing it and adding, music and Ben's got NPCs and everything. It's always better than when we record it. And so it's like a double blessing where it's one I get to do it in the first place, which is fun. And then the second time when I get to listen to it when it's released, I'm like, wow.
Continue to pray.
Yeah. I was gonna say that was the alternative title to Stinky Dragon. It was Double Blessing.
Double blessing.
Well,
Yeah.
What a great segue because we are joined by both Ben and Micah, who work tirelessly behind the scenes. Micah, of course, is our writer, editor, composer, and Ben is our producer. They do so much to help make this show what it is. So, Micah, what is the overall name of this campaign?
That's the next puzzle. You have to solve it. Go.
No, the name of this one I think we kind of settled on the Infinite campaign, just because that's kind of the running theme from the beginning to the end. That we start off as interns, Infinites, and then they actually eventually become the Infinites and kind of come full circle.
It's true. I love it.
I love none of us stayed Infinites. Yeah.
That's fundamental. I want to also point out quickly, I filled in for Gus to do like the little outro read for one of the podcasts. I think it was like part one of the finale, and it said in finale, but I wrote it as infinale at first, and I was like, it's a
thinking about, oh, okay, I got another Sticky Dragon recording, stuff like that. And I was thinking about it, and it was like some of my favorite moments, and one of them was when we could not get through Diarrheans. Did you change that to Paladians, or was Diarrheans a separate thing? Like,
It's a separate thing.
okay, I remember the Diarrheans coming out, and Gus was a 10-year-old boy who couldn't get through it. Oh, yeah.
So what you had just asked right there, Blaine, about the diarrheans and the paladines, it's actually a really good question. I mean, speaking to the broader world and everything that you went through, do you guys have any questions about the world, the campaign, things that were maybe left question marks in your head?
So I had a big question, and it was something that we touched on towards the end. It was like well past all of Kyborg's arc, but like I feel like you guys are trying to like dip into each person's like personal investment into the ongoing narrative. So when Dr. Him passed away, he apologized to Kyborg for creating Quadrant, and I was curious like what was the intent with that? Was Quadrant like Atten and Dan, were they like not robots, but you know whatever Atten and Dan were?
Like an automaton of some kind?
Automaton, yeah, or was he like a person that came to like? What did you guys have in mind for Quadrant, and what did you expect for Kyborg to do with Quadrant once he found out?
I wrote Aptitarius and Quaternarius as brothers that lived in Tetora. And Tetorans were notorious for like not wanting anybody else but Dragonborns, right? Because they're different draconic people. I forget what the term is. There's a term in like D&D lore of like all draconic type people, but they were basically outcasts. I think he kind of mentions that they were cast aside by their parents because Dr. Hem is a kobold, which is a type of dragon type person, and then Quadrant or Quaternius was similar. He was basically the first Taurulian in our minds, and so they were cast out of society. So yeah, exactly. When Hem and him were alone, basically on their own, he built Quadrant his arms to basically fit into society again and like give him a chance to be something different. And kind of grew out of Quadrant's wanting for more and wanting to pay back people. So to answer your question, the latter part, like it was really up to you. Like I think I mentioned that in the recording. Like I didn't have anything particular in mind with what kind of would do with all that information. But it's more just that there's a connection that, like you were saying, with each of the characters that Dr. M kind of had.
Yeah. So Dr. M, his brothers was Quadrant then. Is that wow? Okay, I just now realized that. Yeah. There was a moment there where like you probably cut from the finale, but you were like, "What did you want to leave for the Briar War?" So like that, and I was like thinking about it, it's like I don't know, would I want to like rehabilitate Quadrant? There was no like mystic thing that changed him. He was just a jerk that got arms and then like killed a bunch of people. It was like no, there's no redemption for that trash. So I was like, he can stay the Briar War. I'll go stomp on it with sword.
Something that I was also wondering about, specifically with Gum Gum, obviously we get the reveal that Daya is his mother, and Tropa, aka Glintor, no, Gyarator, are his parents. And so I'm just like wondering how that conception happened. I guess like how they
physically, you mean?
Yeah.
Mommy god and a daddy god fall in love.
I guess it's different because like in this universe, the goddess Andi, Daya, is like a physical being, not like what I would picture a god to be like this mystical, non-physical being.
You read any of his logical stories with pantheons, those gods constantly have kids with souls.
That's true, yeah.
That's for demigods, that's for being Hercules, that's for being Achilles, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there is a little bit of lore like related to that, not anatomically, but Daya had a mortal body, I guess you'd say, like a vessel. And when she entered the material plane, and Gyarados was already, like you mentioned, he's a storm at that time. So yeah, when they fought, like that little blowout where Integral has Lindor at that point, like hostage, and they have a big fight, that's when Daya was the last bit of her power to kind of basically leave to save Gum Gum and, as much as she can. She has to return to Mount Celestia. That's kind of a more deity spiritual connection that you're describing.
Mine works in mysterious ways, like I don't know how anybody does these types of things where they create such a layered world and characters and different civilizations and stuff like that. It's just like insane to me. It's very, very cool.
Yeah. Thank you for that question. What form was it initially? How did he? Because I believe he went from
where he started and where he ended. I don't have his whole backstory written out, but basically, in my mind, he was an orc, which is where you get your half orc from. Your half orc, half deity, basically. And yeah, I kind of grew up as a wise person. I think I mentioned that in the last arc, that he's the wise offer to Gyarados. And I think it was yeah, like I said, I didn't flesh out all that backstory because I didn't think it was as relevant as his connection to Gumbo. But my internal lore is that he was kind of the head wizard and kind of started teaching people magic. I think I mentioned that in the last arc as well. And when he discovered in himself that like people weren't ready for magic in his mind, his rage started turning, just kind of his rage. And eventually, to the point where he started pursuing other things to try and figure out a way to stop magic from happening when Dia wasn't agreeing that like magic was the curse kind of thing. And I think part of that is him exploring the different planes, and one of those planes being, I think I said one like Anarxis is the name, which is where Anarchs come from, and it's kind of like a chaos storyline that took it like completely off track, or like went a completely different direction than you anticipated or planned, if there was any big forks in the rain.
I think the biggest one for me, it's like it wasn't a big story departure. I think it was you guys were always like starting to go down paths that maybe we didn't fully flesh out. Normally we would have a document, we talk about what the plan is or what the goal is for an episode, or if there's any questions, and inevitably you all would turn left at a juncture we didn't see, or just be like get hung up on a door, or someone's on well.
Still don't know why.
On the well fixation. Can we come back to the well?
Is that an answer?
We'll come back to the well, but I think the biggest departure was the naval battle that you circumvented by having Mud turn into a plesiosaur and then just swimming under the naval blockade at the port. And just like, well, that was going to be 45 minutes of that episode.
Yeah.
Guess we didn't have to out.
Yeah, I think the other famous one, which I think happened even before that, was in the second arc, which was the door fiasco at the Glocken Tower.
Oh, God.
We cut like 2 entire encounters because you guys just spent so much time on that door, and we didn't have time to just open it. So for the rest of the campaign, for me anyways, it felt like anytime we hit a door, it's like, okay, this is going to be 5 minutes, or it's going to take the rest of the episode for them to figure out how to get past this.
Oh,
Apparently it's a common thing in D&D.
there's the
We posted a couple of D&D
Pokemon
sketches,
fan.
and
He
we
has
did one
a
about
car
opening
sign
a door, and, like,
that
people
says
did
Kai
everything
Ogre.
but trying to open it. And a lot of people could relate.
I,
So
I
don't
guess,
feel like
I
we're
believe
too
that's a
silly.
Pokemon.
We have trust issues collectively. I did research. I went back and I was like, what's the first door that they had trouble with? And it was the Infinite HQ. Yeah.
Yep.
It was the puzzle one with there's like 3 things above it or something. Well, yeah, there was even getting into the Infinite HQ was like booby trapped and like would shock you. There's 3 doors you guys could go in, and I don't think anybody ever knew this, but there was an armory, there was the stables, which eventually we found the stables later in a different arc, and then there was the main door to the lobby. I think someone went to the side, I forget which side, but they never go in. I think it was like locked or something. And like if you had gone in, you would have found the stables, like all the animals the Infinites had that you eventually find out. I think if you found the army, you would have had all these different armor things and the weapons and stuff. So, yeah.
We even had, jokingly, in the very last battle, in the Intronato, was a door that was kind of floating around, and I just jokingly thrown a guys to be like, you can make that door a minute and have it attack one of the party members. So, like, in the very final encounter, the door comes live and finally gets its revenge.
These are from my door brethren. Is there some connection, or is it just wonderful circumstance that the big villain of the whole campaign has a door in his name?
Gyarados.
Door? You mean Gyarados? Oh.
I was like, it's true.
Yeah, I was like a funny trope too.
Right there in front of me. Entrance and trope.
Yeah, and Dorpa.
So what was the thing? Why were you being so weird with the lady in the well? Wait, I actually want to defend them, I think, really quick. I don't think they were being weird about the lady in the well. I think we hyper fixated on the lady in the well. She had no explanation for why she was down there. But like imagine like a video game and you have entered a part of the video game that just hadn't been developed yet. You phased through a wall. And so like that's what can happen constantly in D&D creation is that we kind of like what we see is what is ready for us to like deal with, but like if it's something that wasn't like fully fleshed out, but we can hyper fixate on it, we can force. Here's the thing: I think it started. Tell me if I'm wrong.
was it started as a joke when I threw a coin in and you were like, someone's down there, ow! And then you just didn't have a story like ready to fire from the hip.
No,
False.
there was a story. That's entirely false. You all just never figured it out.
Then what was it?
Why were you being so weird?
Because you didn't figure it out. And we couldn't tell you. Like, we can't just spell it out. Like, there was stuff there. You just didn't get to it. And that's fine. That happens a lot.
Well, do it now. Do
You
it
found
now.
the end result without finding the explanation for it. And I was like, I couldn't just say it. If the character doesn't know, they can't explain it to you.
It's funny how Gus's voice just makes him sound more emotional because
Calm down, Gus. It's okay.
I can't talk.
I pulled up the module. So it's the Sunan province that you guys are in. So you went all the different provinces. You know, they did have different problems trying to find the elders and stuff. So the Sunan province had people that were being tortured in different ways. So the first one was the Inkwell, which is where Magon, the person you're talking about, is trapped. This is what it reads. Trapped at the bottom of a well is an elderly female silver dragonborn named Magon. But the well isn't full of water. It's a reservoir of ink for the calligraphers of the town. Near the well is a Shadrow, taunting the poor dragon. So the Shadrow had thrown Magon down there and was like torturing the person. You didn't see the shadow person because you were looking for them, I guess. And then chaos ensued.
If I remember right, there was also some kind of attack that messed with their memories or something of the sort. That's why I figured in my mind that she couldn't remember or she was having trouble remembering.
There was, I think, yeah, there was another person, and that might have been a similar thing. Like Shizu, there was a nightmare that they were having in a different room. So like all these people had like really torture in different ways. Yeah.
Question, and it's okay if we don't have exact answers. Another one that was kind of like, what do you think Gunga with the Diagent and the crown again? What power they're still at and what they're capable of, and like what the right thing to do with them was.
I don't like classifying something as like the right thing to do with
Or I
them.
guess I think Gum Gum would have wanted to do whatever was best, but I didn't know the potential and the power of them, so I didn't know, or who might be trying to get them, or the danger of them. So I was,
Maybe like the expected outcome, or
did y'all have any idea for what might them?
you're talking about like the wish?
No, the Diagent,
He's talking
like
about the epilogue.
the epilogue, the Diagent,
Oh, what would happen
the
to them
crown.
after?
Yeah.
No, I don't think we had anything in particular in mind. Yeah, I think the idea was just that like we hoped magic would come back to Pesa, and then it did. And then really, yeah, like the ending is really up to you guys. I think we kind of pushed that direction when we were asking you guys those questions.
Yeah, I think Blaine was also the same feeling during that there was like things that you guys had written out that we could do, but you were kind of like just searching for us. But you guys didn't have an ending as far as like the epilogue of our characters, and it was up to us just to say here on.
Yeah, I had questions that I'd written down for each of the characters, things that came to mind of like, what did we explore? What did we learn about the characters? What things would fans be interested in? And I just kind of wrote those down and like, if we covered it, we covered it.
I have a question kind of going back to, I guess it was like the Flat Silty Pool. Did you guys look into each of our character sheets to see what languages we knew and just like knew that since I knew Draconic, I would have a means of communicating? Like, did you expect dragons to be as big of a role in this campaign as it turned out to be?
Oh yeah, absolutely, we knew. Yeah, it was all those sneaky times where I'm asking guys like, hey, can you see this other character sheet? Like, what's their alignment? What's their common languages here? But yeah, I wanted that to be a thing. It's the same reason that like when we get to Tetra and Bart is half Draconic and he's not being affected by certain things,
which at the time I didn't know, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. I think for me, I wanted to save dragons as much as possible. I had hints of it throughout, like the Tolians, kobolds, that sort of thing. I even had like makeshift kind of appearances of dragons and even Duncan, as a pseudo dragon. But yeah, I wanted to save that for like Bard's half dragon. Like that's the kind of thing.
So you knew all along that that was going to be the case. Like, how soon did you know what you were going to do with all of us? Or was it just like, now that we're on to the next arc, I'm going to figure out this person in particular? Like, what was the process behind that?
Yeah, it was different for each character, I think, because I was writing notes for myself to remember things for this episode. But one of the things I wrote down was like the characters' songs played into basically every arc, even down to like certain lines, like lyrics in the songs. And so like I kind of based my arcs on those things, but then like things would come up eventually. Like I couldn't know everything about your characters until you guys told me things as well. But yeah, I think that's my process. Like I wrote down as much as I could in notes over time, and then kind of collated those things when I got closer to your particular arc.
And there were some times when Micah would have to have me ask sneaky questions or try to get information out of the party without raising any suspicions.
Yeah.
Like, hey, can we find out a way to ask so and so this question? Be like, okay, we'll see if we work that into the episode somehow.
Yeah, I think one was like, how old is Bart? Because Bart doesn't have an age written on their character sheet. We've never mentioned Bart's age. I think,
It's timeless.
yeah, because that he never reveals his age. So I was like, how old is he? I need to know for the backstory. Like, what's the timeline? Like, when was he born?
And I think at one point Bart makes a reference to having a birthday or their birthday having passed. And I tried to like very casually ask, like, oh yeah, how many years old did Bart turn that year? And I think Barbara was very evasive even in answering that. She's like, oh, Bart doesn't tell or something like that.
Yeah, he doesn't kiss and tell. And that also is associated with his age. He never tells. Or his weight. Actually, no, he did tell his weight. Chunky boy.
But I will say, like, in the latter arcs, like more recent arcs, like I had a lore document of like how things happened way back in the day, but I didn't have a timeline per se. So eventually, I took like a whole, not a whole day, but a day, an evening to like write down. This is the year this happened. This is the year this happened. You know, just kept going down the timeline and took a lot of work. And it's not completely accurate, but it helped me to be like, that's when this person was born. This is when this person met. That kind of thing.
Was there an alt version of our different arcs where it's like, you know, oh, Kyborg's mom lived, or, you know, Bart and Gum Gum switched, and Bart's parent is Daya, and all that stuff? Like, were there any alternate universe outcomes and stuff? Did Mud have a different story that you guys had in mind that just didn't pan out?
Well, John, how much backstory did you give me?
Too much.
Baloney.
Is that sarcasm? I
I overwhelmed you with the information.
An overwhelming blank page.
That's the possibilities are endless. The writer's conundrum.
That's exactly right. So for John, no, it was. I think I wrote down like a page for each of y'all's arcs when I was planning them out. The first question was like, what if Mud doesn't remember his backstory because he doesn't have a memory? And that was the kind of initial thing.
So that's you writing into like a reason for the fact that I didn't provide anything.
That's it.
That's so nice. I like that. That's fine.
Morgan, what you got?
Yeah, I like that because that takes the no off of me. It's like, oh no, I gifted you an opportunity to.
That's it. We have to take
Yeah,
action as
you're
brothers that
welcome.
you
Yeah.
knew what I needed and I knew what you needed.
Yeah, what I needed was to not spend time on my backstory.
Fotobox längre framme.
To not spend time on my backstory. But like as far as alternate stuff, I think we kind of settled on like, yeah, Kyborg's family was that's always been like your family. Like his family's been gone. They killed that quadrant. We didn't know a whole lot about Bart's backstory, I don't think.
Not too much, yeah.
Yeah, you laid in some few things here and there.
Were you the one who provided the pirate upbringing?
I think
Was
so.
that written by
Yeah.
y'all?
No, I think
It was you.
yeah, I specified that he was raised by pirates, but
Yeah.
didn't say anything about like the captain's name or happen afterwards or anything like that.
What the audience doesn't know is that Barbara's actually a huge fan of Pirates of Penzance.
Pirates of the Caribbean, my friend. Get the pirates right. Drink up me ides yo ho.
I'll tell you the story of Pirates of Penzance later. You understand how closely it relates to that story.
Oh really? Okay. I was like, I don't know.
Did you have Archie planned to be the big bad and also Gum Gum's dad? Like, at what point did that come to, you know, like, did you have a plan for Archie whenever we initially met him back in, like, the third arc, you know? And then how did that evolve to what it was?
Yeah. So arc 1, you guys go to Pies Pass. Gum Gum walks up to the chapel and starts wanting to commune with his dad, right?
Yeah.
And Bart starts like faking his dad's voice, like Gum Gum. And I was editing that episode, that very scene, and I found some music. I didn't write the music for that particular scene, but I found some music that fit really well with it. It was really spiritual and stuff. And that the whole ending of the show came to me, and it was one of those moments where like you can't write it down fast enough.
Yeah.
And so I just kept writing. That was the beginning of that like lore document I was kind of mentioning earlier. And yeah, I came up with Dia, came up with the Dia Gems, came up with Entropa, came up with the connection to Gum Gum, and what the whole like quest was going to be for the rest of the campaign.
So basically you're saying it was me doing Gum Gum's dad
That's it.
that inspired the entire campaign.
Even to the detail of like, I think you mentioned you had a dog later on, but it was funny that I had written a dog to bite you, and that was like that's how intro lures you out of the house and stuff.
Think about
I didn't even think about the dog bite that you got.
Yeah.
What's funny is before the finale recently we had a meeting about possible questions Gum Gum could have for Daya, or possible wishes he could make. And we started trying to plan for worst case
Hello.
scenarios. Like,
Good
what's
morning.
the thing Gum Gum could wish for
Oh,
that could throw us most off the rails? And I think my thought was Gum Gum's gonna wish to have his dog back. He's gonna
I
remember
thought that might be.
welcome
the
from
dog, and it's like,
Australia.
I took a picture of Chris the moment you guys were like,
I'm
"You
driving
get
to
to
work
make
now in
one
Norway,
wish,
so
Gum Gum, but be very careful with how you
it
like
is
say it and all this
currently
stuff." And
8
Chris
minutes
was like,
or 8:13
I
here.
took a picture of him that I'll make sure that we post on social, but it's just a very funny moment. I love when we put the pressure on Chris for something like that.
That's great.
Here's the ending of the show. Go.
Yeah, it's all on you.
No pressure. Howdy, my unhygienic hearers. We hope you're enjoying a behind-the-tails look at the entire Infinite campaign. Big thanks to everyone that supports us. Post on social media using hashtag StinkyDragonPod. If you're not already, make sure you follow us at StinkyDragonPod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You can stay up to date with the
Usually
next
it's
adventure
snow
because this is
here
not the
this
end of the
time,
show. Next week we're going to be releasing a
but
mini adventure
yeah,
GM'd by Chris Damaris that we're
currently
continuing
it's
on by
8
myself,
Celsius
and we're going
plus,
to be
so
diving right into our next
it's
full-length
a little
campaign with
too
the
warm
original
for
cast.
snow, at least here in Oslo.
So I think that this is all of you guys' first D&D campaign for the players. How do you feel about finishing what I presume is your first campaign?
Did we not finish the RTD?
Yeah, everyone is
Kinda
going
up
to
in the
work.
air.
Gotcha. Okay, then
I
yeah,
don't even remember a conclusion to that, so yeah.
the question stands then.
For me personally, I think we really lucked out in finding characters and like chemistry that worked really well together. And I think like this group is great at working together from an improv standpoint and stuff like that. But there's so much of D&D that a lot of us didn't know about. I know like this is my real first time playing D&D and like learning how to, do spells and attacks and roll for certain things and like what needs to be done when and in what order and like all that stuff that's the nitty gritty of D&D. And so it really helped me, I think, like become more comfortable with that stuff. But also, I don't know, like I felt like we did it in a really nice way where it didn't feel so much pressure, like you had to know everything about D&D right off the bat. Like we were a lot more lax with the rules and like the
Yeah,
more
I've never been
specifics
to
of
Australia.
D&D, like
It's
even like
quite
carrying capacity as an
quite the
example.
distance.
And I felt like that laxness helped us be
My
more
brother was
creative
there
and
2 years
like
ago for
kind of
4
fall
weeks
into the comedy a little more of the
with his
podcast. And so
girlfriend.
I love how it all played out in that sense. But it's made me a lot more comfortable and excited to try new D and
And
D
they
classes and
visited
characters
family. I
and
think
different
she had
campaigns and stuff
family in
like that
Sydney or
together.
something.
There's a thing they teach you when you like do an improv class where it's like, don't focus on the things you don't know. Just lean into the things you do know. And I think that by trying to abstract a lot of the nitty gritty and trying to remove the worry about the rules and how specifically it all works, it's like we're trying to
Yeah,
give you that space
24
and more comfort
Celsius.
about
That's
things that
pretty
you do
nice.
know and things you can lean into to try to make it more fun, hopefully.
That's usually average summer temperature, 24 Celsius.
You know, where we were just talking, and so it was all in our heads. So it was easier to not get caught up on like, oh well, I want to move this many feet. Oh wait, I can't move that. You know, like not having a diagram. It's just us like I don't know. I felt like it was like telling a story and living it out. I feel like not being so caught up on like graphs and visuals helped that, at least for me.
That was like one of the biggest conversations I think we really had was how do we transition this from what really was born out of the pandemic and trying to figure out how we could do D&D content online streaming using Roll20 and turn it into an audio podcast format. And
Yeah, well,
really teaching you all how to shift away from like needing a map or
it's not the
anything,
cheapest to
like,
travel
what
that
you
far,
want to
so
do and play in that space while still having the framework of like Dungeons and Dragons, you know?
Yeah, I'll admit, even myself as a player, like it's easy when you have that battle map in front of you. It's easy to get fixated counting squares when other people are
maybe
taking
when
their
the
turns
kids
and
are a
being like,
little
what am I going to do?
older,
Thinking about
could
what you're
visit.
going to do, and you kind of miss what everyone else is doing. You know, not having that map in front of you kind of removes that distraction, where you can engage more and think about how what other people are doing plays into what you want to do.
Going off what Barbara said, I really enjoyed our group's chemistry and like the relationships that each of our characters developed with one another.
Yeah.
And like I think we all experienced a little bit of
Oh,
anxiety when
35.
we were presented with making new characters.
I
for
guess
the next
that's not.
campaign. But
It
I
can get
feel like
warmer.
Going forward, knowing what I do now,
No, wait,
and
you
not
guys
trying to
have summer now.
recapture that lightning in the bottle with the Infinites, I'm
So I
like,
guess
where Kyborg would have made this decision, I
you
would
live
have
in an
made
era
that
that
decision with
doesn't
this other
doesn't
guy.
get
It's like when you're
extreme
playing
heat.
like Doom, and you using the I don't know, just like the DMR, the rifle, way too often.
Because 35 Celsius is something we can get here as well in summer. I think this summer it was maybe like 3.5 or 4 weeks with that heat. Maybe not 35 all the time, but like 30 to 35. Yeah, that was and yeah, that was really annoying, especially since I was at work, couldn't go to the beach and stuff like that. And we don't have an air conditioning AC either, so But
As things are changing, it's still going to be, the five of you in a room on a podcast playing Dungeons and Dragons, which I know is what our audience really loves. And when you think about
yeah,
Bradley's play for like
I don't want to be negative, but as you have seen what happened in Australia, it's happening more often in New Europe. So so yeah, it's crazy. I should have got myself some coffee. I do have a Circle K cup, so I get kind of like free coffee and pay $40, and I can drink as much coffee as I want throughout 1 year. Then next year I have to buy a new license, or yeah, that's pretty nice deal. Hmm. 9 minutes, 9 minutes left to my destination. I'm going to. I work as a what can I sell? Fire technician. So I like check the batteries, check all the detectors, test all the alarms. It's a really nice job. The only laptop or the only tools I have for work is a few screwdrivers, a laptop, and of course the thing I need to test the fire detectors.
I think even when we originally had started,
Yeah, 45, that's crazy.
Dragon's ideas together had come forward immediately like, voices are going to make sense to work. Like they're going to have to match.
Like I remember the first time I arrived in, or the first and last time I arrived in USA. We first arrived in Florida, and I still remember like the heat wave that I met coming out of the airplane, like humid, really warm night air. And this was in 1999, so I was like 12, 13, something. That was a fun time going to Florida. And then more, we went different places.
I think one of the things I think Bobby mentioned earlier that gets people hung up on playing D&D is the rules. Yeah. I know for me, when I first DM'd, I was scared. I was like, how am I going to know all these quirks and things? And it's like the first DMO, right? Like you're never going to know all the quirks, and they keep evolving. And so I think Gus has a really good job of allowing you guys to do what you want to do, and here are the mechanics that are in place to implement those things.
Speaking of which, like oftentimes,
Yeah, it's changing to the worse, I would say.
or figure out a rule. So I would ask you guys a question you know the answer
Need to follow Poland and Hungary's example to keep it sane. But that's
King of multitask.
The drama.
Yeah.
Times I would like slap this like, God, you know the answer to this. What do you do? Some classic Gus gaslighting. Some gaslighting.
The clock daggers test again.
and here in Norway it's dark when I leave for work, and well, not maybe in this job, but when I worked as an electrician in the winter, it's dark in the morning and dark when you leave. Since the sun goes down around 3 or something.
NPC or favorite NPCs. I know we often get other people to voice them. It would just be
This is a school crossing, so people stand guard in the morning, watching out for the kids when they are about to cross the road. That's why that guy was standing there with the orange clothing. God damn, look at all the people not wearing reflexes.
It wasn't much, but it was named after a fan.
And I think it was just how you played them best.
Ah, yeah, if you live nearby the sea, I guess you can take a swim. Unless you have those mini or anything in the sea that can kill you. My brother wanted to like take a dive, and then he was stopped by the local people because he hadn't seen the sign that told him not to swim because of those small jellyfishes or something that could kill you. No, I have not seen the Northern Lights lately because it has been cloudy for maybe 4 weeks or something. And since we live quite far south of Norway, it's not that regular. But my son actually has a picture not too far away from our house where he managed to get a picture of it. It's more common to see Northern Lights if you live like in the middle of Norway and further north. It has to be really strong to reach down here. And usually you can only see it if you take a picture as well. You have to use your phone or camera and use like the night mode or something.
For me, my favorite, like, I guess, a little bit of BTS casting was originally when we had the unicorn come in, and we suddenly realized it was in the middle of our session that John could talk to the unicorn. Oh no, this is going to be worse because it's cast. And I was thinking, and I originally pitched Iggy, by the way, as the voice of the unicorn. It's one of this, like, cracked, deep voice dude who's like the unicorn. Joe, what's up? And when Gus broke out his, like, impression, I was like, no, this is absolutely
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's the good thing about having a country that has proper winters, because it kills a lot of the insects and stuff. So I'm not really sure how the evolution works, especially in Australia where it's so many things that can kill you. In Norway, we have like this one venomous worm or a snake. But if you get bitten, and if you're not allergic, you usually only just get the fever. That's like the worst thing. Or if you're stupid enough to eat the, it's called, what's it called again? It's like a mushroom that's red and white. If you eat that, it can fuck you up. Probably destroys the liver or something.
It's funny you say that because lots of times we had scenarios where there were plenty of NPCs for you to interact with because it's an opportunity to use the names from people who interact with us on social
And we
media.
have those ticks that can give you,
Specifically on the deck of the Bramble Boat,
yeah, random sickness.
and you're like, we're not going to talk to anybody. Right to the bottom
Oh,
of the boat.
I'm doing.
Slacks on my campaign, like, if you talk to somebody,
Oh crap! Is it this beetling here?
to tell me about how wide the dynamic can be in the party. But I did want to circle back and ask Mike a question. Someone was talking about origins and beginnings over here, and I was curious, like, where did you get the original idea for like the Infinite campaign? Like, what was the genesis for the very beginning of it? Because you talked about getting inspired later and how it was going to end. What was like, where did you start?
Yeah, I started with this idea that
Oh wow, they built even more buildings since I was here last time a few years ago. This all the buildings you see here is for students, I believe. Okay, so where can I park here? I don't like working in Oslo. Sometimes it's so confusing to where I can park and stuff. Is the parking space? Oh, here we are. Does it say here? Ah,
Want to get to some
really?
questions here.
Reserved for kindergarten?
One here from Sans Jr. on Twitter asking, what is something you're missing from this campaign that you would like to have from the
Alright, you can see the southern lights. I never thought about that, but on each pole we can see the lights, I guess. Since they have both magnetic poles. I guess Australia hasn't been really strong on selling the idea of coming to Australia to watch the Southern Lights. Mot avgift eller okay, so I can stand here if I find a vacant position.
And also, I like when there is a definite change from you play talking and your character. That's me like in the person and character in general, like not just necessarily just people. But when listening to like these stuff, I like that because it's kind of a fun little like that happens, and I like.
Well, have arrived.
Where you can hear like this father talking, and it's really funny.
There we are. So I will stop the stream here and I will see you another time perhaps. Hopefully no one else at home has to go to the ER since I had to bring my wife there yesterday and to check her up. Since she partially fainted or something. So like I was luckily in the same room. So I managed to like catch her before she fell. But yeah. Yeah, you too. Have a nice, it's 3 o'clock for you or something. Oh, 6:15. Let's see. Right. Almost evening supper. Oh, yeah, goodbye. Nice to